for having me here tonight. It's a great pleasure. And as a relatively new member of the artistic community, as a representative and a voice for you in Canberra, the new portfolio responsibility, I was hoping that tonight would be an opportunity for me to tell you why I think the arts are so important, and then, of course, throughout the evening to be able to hear the varied views about what we need to be focusing on. And I've heard some great passion tonight already, and I must say a number of the things, particularly Barbara, that you raised were really struck a chord with me. You know, from my perspective, I think arts is one of those such rich areas that often gets overlooked. It isn't valued the way it should be. But why, of course, do the arts matter? It makes us smarter, it makes us brighter, it makes us happier, and the arts make us healthier. And that is the crux of it. And at the beginning of tonight, when we heard about the portfolio combinations throughout the various iterations of different governments and ministers, I thought it was astonishing that arts were not listed with education in any one of those combinations. And yet, as also the education portfolio holder, I'll proudly say, we've got the two put together. And I'm very, very proud of that. I think it is absolutely essential to understand that the arts are not just a foundation and a building block of a cohesive community and a respectful society, but it is fundamental to our broader education and lifelong learning. We need to be valuing the arts and our creative industries far more. That means through funding our artists, fair pay, you've heard a little bit about that already tonight, education in our schools and our tertiary institutions. But at a time when we continue to hear over and over again that we are in the next generation of innovation, of the jobs of the future, of the changing and diverse economies, the only way we are going to be innovative is to ensure that we invest in creative industry. Science, maths, research, all of these elements excel when you include an artistic and creative bent. The research proves that over and over again. It is absolutely essential if we are to create the next big invention, if we are to transition our economy to a cleaner, greener and smarter one. But I think the thing that I find most passionate about the arts and the creative industries is that in an increasingly challenging and sadly divisive world, and we've heard some of that over even just in the last week, the election of President Trump, for example, and the reaction and counter-reaction to some of the things that he's already done. The thing that I think is missing in this world is empathy. It is fundamental to how we relate to each other, fundamental to how we see what kind of future we want to create, and it is the essence of what keeps us a prosperous and healthy community. And yet empathy is sadly looking thinner and thinner across the globe. I believe that art is the best teacher of empathy that we have. Whether it is a child describing to their parents what they did at childcare that day, whether it is a teenager putting in paint or in words or through music the way they see the world, how they believe the world sees them, whether it is talking from culture to culture about common values, art teaches us to empathise and connect. I visited a lot of detention centres in my previous responsibilities as having the immigration portfolio. And sitting down with children in these centres, a number of them been locked in these camps for a very long time, and seeing the power of art unlock a sense of trauma, frustration, imprisonment. I went to the Nauru Detention Centre a number of years ago, and I wasn't allowed to take a phone or a camera or any kind of recording device, but I insisted that I could take coloured pencils and some paper. And I sat down with the children in that camp, and I got them to draw for me their world. They are some of the most powerful images and stories you will ever get out of those detention camps. Through the eyes of children, describing how they see the world and how they think the world sees them. They tell a powerful story to the audience, but they provide a much needed relief of trauma for the child. The power of empathy is so inherent in the arts and the creative abilities and pathways. Of course, there's also the much needed independence of our arts community. And when you have governments who undervalue and dismiss the powerful benefits that the various creative industries can bring, you also start to see a crackdown when it comes to independence. The reason we need an independent arts community is because the critical thinking that comes with that is more important than ever. In a challenging and, it seems, forever increasingly nasty world we live in, having people who are not afraid to speak, show and tell the truth is absolutely important. And no one can do that as well as artists can. Whether it is through the visual display, the creative word, the comic relief, or the dramatic performance that shows us very real the mirror of our own communities. That is so fundamental right now. So when I see stories of cuts to art schools or cuts to funding to arts organisations that support artists, when I see lists of courses that ministers say are important for our economy and yet creative industries have been gutted, I think we're going down the wrong path. Investing in the creative industries, in the innovation and the empathy that they bring is how we will actually get past and through the most challenging times that we're confronted with right now. Democracy, a healthy democracy, a safe community, a respectful community desperately needs a thriving arts sector. And it's not just about, I want to make this very clear, I understand that you need a variety of creative industries and sectors and a variety of levels. It's not okay as a Member of Parliament or government officials to just concentrate on the high end and think that's all we have to fund. The Australian Ballet School. We have to be investing in community arts because they are the foundation for the growth of emerging artists that links with the community and that those tentacles to empathy and innovation. We need all different layers. Barbara, I think you described it as an ecosystem, and that is precisely what it is. I think that's a very important a description of the sector. I might leave it there because I think I'd really like to get into some questions. But I hope that gives you a sense of my commitment to the arts community, why I think it's important, and why we need to work together as much as anything to ensure that we start to lift the value of the way arts and creative industries are viewed in this country, ensure that we don't just dismiss it as not being part of the economic story. Actually, I think it really is part of the new economy. But more than that, you can't put a price on community and empathy, and that is why the arts are so vital.